Hello, family. So, first of all, my name is Deandra. Everyone calls me Dee, and welcome to my first YouTube video. Honestly, I don't even know where to begin. Truth be told, I didn't want to start a YouTube channel. But I'm starting to understand that this is bigger than me, and there are certain words that God gives me. And sometimes I keep them in. Sometimes I write because I love to write and I share them with the mailing list. But now I feel like God is calling me deeper. He's calling me to a new territory. And there are certain words that he's given me that is important that I share. So here we are. This video may kind of be all over the place, but I know that there's a reason for it all. So I got my Bible right here. I got my other phone, which that's a whole nother story within itself, with some notes on it based off of some things that God revealed to me. And just a quick backstory. So I don't even know where to begin with the backstory. I'm not about to tell my full story right now because it's just too much and my story is still being written. But I will share that I have a business, and through the business, God was starting to use my gifts in a different way. The business was one thing. This video, it has nothing to do with that. So I'm not going to even get into all the details about what my business was. But I recognize that through the business, there were things that God was starting to do in terms of my giftings related to him and sharing the good news about Christ. And at first I felt like it was odd because I was in a space where I'm just to kind of give a little backstory. I was in like the cosmetic hair care type business. So I'm like, it felt strange to be preaching the gospel on a platform related to hair care, skin care, and all of those things. But what God was showing me was it was up to me to merge faith in that area as well as spread the news to a group of people that may not hear it. Spread the news to a group of people that may be perishing. And it's funny because in the midst of this, and everything happened in slow motion, but fast at the same time, because I wasn't even thinking about all of this. Honestly, I wasn't even thinking about starting no business, and then the business came. But I remember one day when I was studying or reading my word, I was reading Genesis, and I read Genesis 6. And that pretty much is the story about Noah being called by God to build the ark. And when I read that story, God started to download some things in me that I never thought about. But one of the biggest things was the fact that Noah was called to save a group of people that were perishing. If he had not saved his family, they would have perished like the rest of the world. And through that, God showed me that there is a group of people that I am called to build an ark for. There's a group of people that, God is calling on this boat with me so that they don't perish. And at first, because I had this business, I thought he was talking about my supporters and my customers and, all the people on my mailing list and that follow my social media for my business, especially being in an industry where there is a lot of talk about, obviously, it's a wellness type industry, but there's a lot of talk about self-love, and there's a lot of talk about manifesting, and there's a lot of talk about, me, I, especially when you think about self-care. And although self-care is extremely important, one thing that God started to open my eyes about was self-love. And through my business, that's something that I promoted, but I promoted it in a way. I knew deep down the reason why I was talking about self-love, but I started to recognize that other people didn't know what I meant by that. And when I say self-love, I don't mean just loving on myself and not caring about nobody else. Self-love is rooted and grounded in the love of Christ. If you don't know how he loves you, then you can't truly even love yourself. Of course, this dates back to my whole life and some experiences that I've gone through as to why that's so important to me. But I started to think, oh, wow, this group of people that I'm supposed to save are all of these people that are on this wagon, essentially, of self-love and are missing the one true point, which is Jesus Christ. And the last thing I want is for people, anybody, I don't care who you are, to perish for lack of knowledge. So with that said, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing, God. Like, I'm supposed to be, my business is technically my ministry. And he even had me reframe the idea that it's my business because it's his business. So like the business is ministry. But then, lo and behold, I felt a leading to close the business, to shut it down. And I'm like, what? Literally right at my 4-year mark of being in business, or like selling my first product, around that time, I heard shut it down. I heard let it go. Let me say that. I heard let it go. And at first I was in denial. I'm like, let it go. Okay, maybe he just wants me to let go of something. But no, he was saying let go of the business. But because that's a whole nother story too that I'm not about to get into right now. But through letting go of the business, one, God showed me the true things that he wanted me to let go. But even in the midst of this journey with him, I was starting to think, oh, I'm supposed to shut it down forever and ever and ever and ever. I did allow the enemy, to creep in and to steal something that really was a part of my vessel that was to bring others to Christ. So I ended up shutting the business down completely, which at the end of the day, all things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose, because even through the shutting down of the business, God nourished my relationship with him and just really showed me a lot. And, part of what he was doing through letting go of Queen Natural, business, part of what he was doing in letting me, allowing me to let go of the business these were 4 things he actually said. Through letting go of the business, you are letting go of fear. You are letting go of people pleasing. You are going to let go of pride, and you are going to let go of control. And I'm like, dang. I know I be trying to control everything. Like, that's already, not good. I know that I'm a people pleaser. And even when I first started my business, I went into this suction of people pleasing and wanting to do everything that everybody wanted versus truly leaning into the Holy Spirit and doing what God was leading me to do. Fear? Yeah, I can see that. Pride? I ain't prideful, am I? And, of course, he started to show me ways that I was filled with pride, even down to the fact that fear is even a symptom of pride. So nonetheless, through letting go of the business, God was clearly working with me on letting go of those things. And through letting go, I recently restarted the business, and now even in restarting the business, because I felt like it was time, I'm starting to question, was it really time, or is God like leading me to not rebirth the business, but rebirth something new, rebirth a full-blown ministry that really is going to help me let go of trying to please people with, and please people's opinions, or appease people's opinions, or let go of the fear of being in front of the camera. I'm not afraid to talk. I love to talk. I'm not afraid to, necessarily be in front of a camera, but this is just not something that I necessarily wanted to do. I'm perfectly fine writing, and you can read my words and all of that good stuff. I'm perfectly fine with being behind the scenes and doing my own thing, but sitting in front of the camera was something I wasn't really feeling. I'm a girl that don't be necessarily wanting to, first, I don't wear makeup. I don't be wanting to get cute. Like, I just throw something on. Half the time, my hair be looking a mess if I don't got nowhere to go. Like, all of these things. And I'm like, dang, I gotta put something, like, do something to my hair. I gotta, put clothes on for the days when I'm just chilling in the house. And, because I homeschool my son, I'm part-time. I part-time am a therapist, but then I also homeschool my son. So I work from home a lot. And I'm like, I ain't trying to put no clothes on. But God is putting me in a new territory. And here we are. So I want to quickly, because honestly speaking, I got a session in like 2 minutes. So I don't have time to like fully go into it right now. But I'm just going to share something. And this is crazy because God will tell us to do something. And we will take so long to do the thing as if he's not going to just take it away and give it to somebody else. And I'm starting to learn that delayed obedience is still disobedience. Now, granted, recently is the first time, like when I was recently doing a fast, that was the first time I actually heard to start a YouTube channel. Because again, I ain't even thinking about that. And I just felt like God was doing a work in me where I wasn't necessarily prepared to do that anyway. But the mere fact that I'm looking through a note that I wrote in my phone over a year ago, April of 2023 to be exact, so almost 2 years ago, and I'm reading it and I'm seeing how it truly aligns with the things that he's saying to me now. It's like, wow. But the problem is I was too stubborn or too prideful to see what it is that he was trying to do. And I was almost forcing, or I guess using what I thought, or using what I thought that he wanted me to use to bring this ministry forth, without truly seeking him and seeing, is this what it is that you're referring to? So really quick, I'm just going to share this really quick. So like I said, Genesis 6 is where this revelation came from. And basically, and you're going to see me looking down because I'm looking at these notes here. God called Noah to save a group of people who, had it not been for the ark, would have perished. And that goes on, speaks to what I was just saying a little earlier. Now, when I was doing my study on the ark, I realized that ark means protection, right? So other words that came up are like safety, security, preservation, refuge. And then when I saw these words, I immediately thought about God. And I thought about the fact that he is our refuge. He is our safety. And in him, we are preserved and have security, right? But what I started to realize is, in the same way that God called Noah to save a group of people from perishing, he has called me to save a group of people from perishing as well. And even though, it's uncomfortable and I might have to do things that I don't necessarily want to do, How many times does God call us to do things that are uncomfortable? How many times does he call us to do things that we don't necessarily want to do? And we have to learn how to, despite how our inner feelings are, despite how we feel about whatever, if Jesus was the most uncomfortable as anyone could ever be by sacrificing his life for us on the cross, and I'm almost about to cry thinking about it. If he could literally sacrifice his life for us, on first of all, sacrifice and come down to earth when he was in heaven, and then for him to die on the cross for our sins, what greater sacrifice can I make than to use my body as a living sacrifice, whether that be my mouth in the words that I say, whether that be in my actions in the way that I treat others, whatever that may be. My life should be a living sacrifice. I should be a living sacrifice, and I have to remain planted and grounded in him and his love in order to be the vessel that I need to be for his kingdom. My session has started. It's time for me to go into my session with my client. So I'm going to pause right here, but I do want, before I go, and I'll probably do a whole nother video on Genesis 6 and the ark and all of that stuff, because there's so much more that I could share. I just wanted to quickly come on here and just say this little tidbit, and maybe through my courage, I guess, I don't know, my obedience, because again, I ain't trying to do this, but I'm at the place in my life where you want me to do what, God? Okay. Yeah, I may not want to do it, but here we are. So through my own obedience, despite my emotions, I pray that this encourages someone else to do the same. I don't know what God may be calling you to do. I don't know if you even recognize that God is calling you to do anything, but I want to encourage you to lean on him, trust in God, and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So I'm going to end there. I pray that whoever this video is for, that you receive it. If this video, I always encourage you to test the spirit. That way you know if this video is for you or if it's not for you. And I hope you're willing to go on this journey with me. I will talk soon. Bye.